Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of. I don't think we have a name other than Nimer's Tech and Outdoor Adventures channel. We should probably come up with a better name, really.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Yes. Let's just make sure that we're actually live for the second time.
Right?
Let's see. Of course, no one's going to find us now because, we already provided a link to the last one,
Yeah.
but that's okay. Oh, no, we have two watching. Okay, that's good.
Oh,
Well,
very
hello, if you are
good.
watching.
Hi, people.
Yes, hello and welcome back. And we apologize for the last stream. We were having some technical issues. Kurt, as always, was the problem.
Right.
That's always the case.
Yes.
No, for whatever reason, Restream is having some kind of issue where if someone tries to join, sometimes it doesn't allow them to join. I have no idea. This is probably the second week that this has happened, so I think we might be
Yeah.
going back to StreamYard as it is more reliable, at least for now. But anyway, that's where we're at. And so today's Monday. No, today's Thursday, the 28th. I don't want to go back to Monday. Today's Thursday, the 28th. And today's Pixel Day.
Ooh. You actually
So,
got yours.
yes. My
Very
Pix.
good.
Hello, Quentin. I'm not sure what My Pix is, but hello, My Pix. And, yes. So anyway, today's Pixel Day, and I did get mine. I got mine Tuesday, actually. But anyway, some people who pre-ordered might have gotten theirs a little early. And so we'll be talking about Pixel 6, Pixel 6 Pro impressions. I was going to do this whole unboxing and all this stuff, but honestly, there was probably about 2 billion videos done on that topic. So if you would like an unboxing, please go to Marcus Brownlee, go to The Verge, go to, I don't know, any billions
Mr.
of.
Who's the Boss?
Exactly, exactly. Even Sneed Mobile Tech did a unboxing and some kind of demo, and yeah, just pick one. Go there, or pick five. Go pick 10. I don't know, but point is, I don't think that we really need to redo the wheel, so I didn't bother doing that. Plus, I was really tired Tuesday, so I didn't actually even do the unboxing Tuesday. I waited till Wednesday, and then I just decided, well, there's no point in, you know, doing that recording. Anyway, I will be talking about first impressions on that device from an accessibility perspective, and whether or not it's something that you might want to consider getting. And I'm sure Kurt will have his views. I know
I
that
have
we've had some
questions.
debates regarding the modem,
Yeah, a little bit.
so we'll talk about the modem and some other things as well. And I thought I would also replay my video of the Android apps. I took a video, took take two, took take three, but I called it take two. So the YouTube video is a little bit, our channel is a little bit of a mess at the moment
Yeah.
because I'm a little bit of a mess at the moment. It's just a lot going on.
Yeah, me too.
And so, point is, I'll probably just replay that, and it'll be so funny if I get a copyright strike for my own video. But I'm going to,
That would be
you
just
know,
like YouTube.
yeah. But I'm going to share the screen, and we'll play that just so you have an idea of what it's like using the Android subsystem for Windows. And yeah, that's probably about it. But of course, we always start with the news.
Ooh.
And this week, we've kind of got a little bit of a boring news section, so I kind of gonna go through it relatively quickly,
Yeah.
because
It seemed all phone related, basically.
which is exactly what we're talking about. Yes, so that's. uh, at any rate, let's see here. The first article we've got here is Google Fi. They're getting end-to-end encryption for phone calls on Android. I'm not sure how this is actually going to work, and I'm kind of interested because
Yeah?
They technically go through T-Mobile or other providers, and so I'm not sure if they're gonna like how are they gonna ride on top of that to do encryption. It'll be I'm kind of interested to look into that and see and find out a little bit more about how that actually is going to work.
And both callers have to be on Google Fi for the end-to-end encryption to work, right?
I think so, but you know they're still on T-Mobile, so I'm still I don't know. I'm still
Yeah.
not really sure how that all works, or even how Fi recognizes the difference between another Fi subscriber and a Google and a T-Mobile customer. Hmm.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's interesting.
like and I'm talking about it from a cellular perspective. So I mean, I'm glad to see this, and it might actually be a real incentive to consider Fi over another provider because having encrypted calls is a good thing. There's a lot of it's pretty easy now to, if you have some money, go out and get one of these fake towers, and basically now you have access to people's whatever data, calls, whatever, because you're routing them through a fake tower or something. Yeah, it's a real security issue in
Yeah.
bigger cities. So anyway, something that we'll have a link to this article for you to look at, and if you're interested in that, then that's something to consider for you in the States for Google Fi and encryption. By the way, if you're interested in a comparison of phone plans and all that, check out bestphoneplans.net, and they do a pretty nice job of comparing the various phone plans, and there's a lot of cheaper ones. So if you're paying, for example, for Verizon or AT&T, and you want to save possibly hundreds or thousands of dollars a year, check out that website, and you can probably get onto an MVNO and save yourself a lot of money. Next one, I don't know why I even included this because I'm not interested, but maybe some of you might be. Nokia, they're releasing an affordable tablet.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw that.
you know, Personally, I think that if you want a tablet, get an iPad.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think. It was unveiled a few weeks ago, but it seems to have been released now. So you can only purchase it from Nokia's website at $249 with 64 gig of storage, 4 gigs of RAM. It does not have any kind of cell capability. Seems like a waste of time to me, but
Yeah, although I have had a lot of people lately hitting me up asking about what Android tablet should I buy, which, I mean, I agree. It's not. I don't know any actually, like, Android tablets that are worth the money, but, there seems to be some interest, so I guess that's an option for folks.
Quentin, hello from a cold and rainy Cincinnati, watching as I am continue to play with my picks. Okay, cool.
Is that your Pixel phone, Quentin?
No idea. Uh, all right, let's see. TCL 20XE is coming to Metro by T-Mobile and Boost Mobile. Visible is picking up the 20A 5G. These tend to be kind of low-range devices. They're not really even mid-range. They're kind of budget devices. And some people, if you need a phone, you don't want to spend a lot of money on a phone, or you want to get one for your kid,
Yeah.
maybe something to consider, one of these devices. I know that updatability is probably going to be a little bit of a challenge, but that's just how it goes.
I've heard good things about the TCL budget phones, though.
Yeah.
For what they are.
Yeah, for what they are, they're fine. Let's see here if we can get a list of specs here. $119 for the 20XE at Metro and T-Mobile. The TCL will go for sale on Visible for less than $200. You can get a 5G phone. Temper your expectations. Don't think you can run out and get a Pixel for that price. So the 20XE has a mid-range. They call it mid-range. I call it low-range. It's a 2 gigahertz octa-core MediaTek processor. Don't ever get MediaTek if you can help it. But anyway, 3 gigabytes of RAM, which is going to be a real struggle, I think.
Yeah, that's hard.
And 30 gigs or 32 gigs of expandable storage. That's not great, but oh well. It has a 6.5-inch display, triple camera setup, 13 megapixel plus 2 megapixel plus 2 megapixel. I think they would be best just to remove the 2 megapixels. But I guess since everyone else has 3 cameras, they might as well have 3 cameras.
Yeah.
But they do have a 5,000 milliamp battery, which is good. Rear fingerprint sensor, which if you miss that, then you can get it on this device because Pixels no longer have it, or at least not the new ones. It's got a 5 megapixel selfie cam, and it's running Android 11.
The selfie cam might be the best camera on the phone.
Exactly. The 5G variant is going to have Snapdragon's 485G, which is very much kind of a low-range processor. 4 gigs of RAM, but at least it comes with 64 gigs of storage instead of the 32. It has expandable storage, apparently, whatever that means. Maybe SD card? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would assume so.
This one has a 6.52-inch V-notch HD Plus display, triple camera setup, 16 megapixel this time, plus 5 megapixel plus 2 megapixel, a secondary 13 megapixel camera, and a slightly smaller 4,500 milliamp battery. Not so good with 5G. The 5,000 milliamp one is LTE, and I think they got that backwards.
Yeah.
Anyway, might be worth checking out if you're really on a budget, on a bind, and are looking for an Android device. But I will say, if you get this device and you think that you're going to get a great experience, and this is going to give you an idea of what Android is like to use, I don't want to see a blog post written from you. Jonathan Mosen, are you listening to me? Or whoever. I don't want to see a blog post written about how crappy Android is because you go get this device and figure out that it doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
All right. iFixit. This is kind of interesting. You can, look at this, but iFixit takes apart the polishing cloth.
Wonder what the repairability score is on that thing.
Yeah. Pixel 6 Pro battery life falls short of S21 Ultra, but not by much. I think it really depends on what you're doing, because I don't actually think that's true. I think they're probably about the same. Having owned both devices, they're probably quite similar. It really depends on what you're doing, though. But yeah, I would say they're quite similar. Google unveils developer version of Android 12L for large screen devices like Android devices that have larger screens. So,
isn't that supposed to be optimized for Chromebooks as well?
Yep, I think so. So you can go learn about Android 12L that will give you all kinds of new things, at least from a developer standpoint right now, and hopefully will be coming first quarter, somewhere around there, next year, for those larger devices. T-Mobile, they're going to allow you to return your items in the store. I can't believe it.
Finally.
I can't believe this is an actual thing. But I do remember running into this problem where if you buy something online and you think you can go just, return it at the store, or if you buy something online and you can go pick it up at the store, T-Mobile never allowed you to do this. Well, looks like they're changing that policy, so you will be able to. I don't know that the reps are going to be very happy,
Yeah, probably not.
but you'll be able to do this now. So something to, to think about and consider if you are going with T-Mobile. And I do think this is a welcome move. One of the problems I have with AT&T especially, and even Verizon to some extent, is that they're using a lot of these unauthorized, they're not unauthorized, but they're authorized retailers versus corporate stores.
Yep.
I call them unauthorized because if you go to one thinking that it's an actual Verizon, and they will tell you if you call them, they'll say, well, thank you for calling Verizon. So you really think that they're Verizon. But you go to the store and you go to try to return a device or do anything like a SIM swap or anything like that, they'll say, oh, no, we can't do that. You have to go to a corporate store. Whereas I don't think T-Mobile really uses this concept of authorized retailers. I mean,
No.
you go anywhere and a T-Mobile store is a T-Mobile store. So that is a huge benefit to T-Mobile, and the fact now that they're allowing you to do these cross-channel returns is a really big thing, I think.
Especially because now T-Mobile is going to have reps in, like, Best Buy and Walmart's. So that, I think especially for people in rural areas where, maybe you've got one store within 5 miles or whatever, that's going to be a welcome change.
5 miles? I was thinking 50. But yeah.
Well, I was trying to be generous, but yes.
Yeah, I think this is a really great thing for customers with T-Mobile. And, it's a really, really good thing. So, I don't always praise T-Mobile, but on this one I definitely will praise T-Mobile.
You don't?
Not at all. Google's call screen seems to be expanding, so this is one of the huge benefits to getting a Pixel is some of these features that are Pixel only, like the call screen feature that really can eliminate spam and help mitigate it, plus the Hold Me feature and some of these other features that are really Pixel only.
Yeah. And probably will always be only Pixel only, right?
Yes. So it is rolling out to new countries in Europe. So let's see here. It is going out to UK, France, Germany, Australia, Ireland. You go to Ireland, man.
Very good.
Italy and Spain. If you'd like to donate to us, we can go to Ireland and do a podcast from there. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that sounds really fun. I'll buy you a Guinness, or listeners can buy us some Guinness.
That's right. That's right. WhatsApp now lets you... So they announced this feature a while ago, but they were only doing it iOS to iOS, so you could transfer your chat history from one device to another. Now they're letting you do it from iOS to Android. And, that's pretty important, I think.
It only works if you have cloud backups enabled, though, right?
That's right.
So,
yeah.
That's
but it used to be on the iOS side. The cloud backups were specific to, you'd store them on Apple or iCloud. And Google's were on Google Drive, so they never really connected well together. Just kind of an interesting, an interesting thing.
I think it's funny how WhatsApp is all, advertises like end-to-end encryption, we're secure, but in order to really take advantage of these things, you have to give them all your message history anyhow.
So actually with this specific feature, you don't need, I'm just looking closer at the article, you don't need cloud backups because what you need is a USB-C to Lightning cable, which should be coming with most iPhones these days. You'll be prompted to scan an QR code with the iPhone. It'll open up WhatsApp and it'll move all conversations, media, and any other memories to your Android device. This works with Android 12, unless you have a Samsung device, in which case it might work with Android 11. So
that's cool. So you just connect the phones up together.
Yes. Samsung, this is another good move for consumers. They're authorizing Best Buy to provide in-store repairs for their devices. That is excellent
Yeah.
because one of the benefits to Apple stores is that you can walk into an Apple store and, you know, connect with the Genius Bar or whatever they're called and get your device replaced or looked at or fixed or whatever. And I think that's a huge benefit that it's pretty hard for Android manufacturers to really have is that because if I want to get my device fixed, I suppose I could go to like a U-Break iFix. That's what Google works with, or you can now go to Best Buy. But before that, you were stuck. You had to ship the device back to the store or whatever. Like even if you brought it back to the carrier, Verizon or something, they say, "Oh, well, don't worry. We'll just take the device and we'll send you out a new one in 3 or 4 days or a week or
Yeah.
however long." If you're lucky, you get next day shipping or something. But still,
If you've paid for their, like, extra ridiculous insurance policy, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. So what's this about Facebook? Though, we talked about this last week. They have this
yeah,
new
they're
name
pulling
now,
a Google.
Yeah, so they're now their new name is Meta. Metaphysics. I don't know.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I guess it fits with Instagram and WhatsApp and Portal and whatever the
Yeah.
hell else they've got going on.
Yeah, they've got tons of stuff. Samsung's launching 3 new Galaxy books with Windows 11 on them. So if you're interested in a Samsung laptop, I really don't like Samsung laptops. But if you're interested in a Samsung laptop, and the reason I say that is just, I don't know, I've run into some quality issues. I don't particularly like their keyboards. I don't think they really have great speakers. I just not a huge fan of the Samsung laptops. I think they should stick to phones personally, or washing machines, or whatever else they do. But
TVs.
exactly, TVs. But maybe the displays are nice, but certainly I don't think the laptops themselves are. And I don't know, I haven't seen these ones, so I don't want to stop someone from going out and buying these.
Yeah.
But if you want to learn about their new laptops, check those out. And,
Yeah, it seems like they're taking it more seriously than they like. It seems like they're advertising them a little more than they used to. So maybe they're better.
yeah, it's the second time this year I think they've come out with new ones too, because they came out with their new Galaxy books or something in April. I remember talking about that. I don't know, but of course Windows 11 wasn't out now. So yeah, we absolutely need Windows 11 now.
Right.
So okay, well, if you're watching this, I want to thank you very much for watching this, and definitely please consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Hit the like button, hit the dislike button, hit the share, hit the delete, hit whatever you like. Share it to Instagram, share it to Meta, share it to Snapchat.
Turn on those bell notifications.
Exactly, turn on the bells, etc., etc. So now let's move on to the next topic. Let's see.
Yeah.
Should we do Android apps or should we do Pixel? You have a
I don't know that I have a preference. I kind of want to hear. I kind of want to hear the second take too.
Okay. Well, we'll just do Android apps, and if you're here to get Pixel stuff, then I guess you have to be held in suspense for a while, and that will just be that. And if you have a complaint about that, send your dislikes to Kirt.
Yeah.
Remember, this is the Nimer Outdoor Adventures channel, so don't dislike the video. Go over to Kirt's channel.
My empty channel. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, let's see. Oh, by the way, before I go on to that, some of you may have seen a Plantronics video. It was posted. If you haven't seen that video, go back and maybe watch it. I don't know. But anyway, the problem with the audio is not related to the headset. I want to be very clear. The problem is very much related to how Bluetooth audio works in the browser and related to StreamYard, to Restream, whatever. So, the headset does not actually sound like that, and I have to try to work out the best way to provide a better recording of that. And once I do that, I can try to upload that. Of course, now we don't have a huge monster windstorm, so it won't be the same. I think if you listen to it, you'll get an idea of the noise cancellation, but yeah, it doesn't sound very good. It sounds very robotic, and I just want to be clear that's not how the headset actually sounds like. So
That would be very amusing if
yes.
Plantronics of all people sold a headset like that.
Yeah, I mean, it almost made me sound like I was back up on the moon, so maybe that's the effect they're going for. I have no idea. Yeah, no, Kurt heard it. He says that it sounds okay, so I think
Yeah,
Robert
no, it
heard it. He's
actually
in
sounds good
Zimbabwe,
on phone
so
calls.
yeah. Okay, well, I'll play this Android apps Take Two, and let's see here. And I'll share the screen, and then we'll play this. Share. Hello, everyone. We're going to get started here in a minute. Hello, I will be starting here momentarily. All right, hello everyone. And so I just did a stream probably not too long ago, and I ran into some issues with the Hyper-V and virtualization. So glad that you're in here. I was able to get those issues solved. So I'm going to go ahead and actually do a demo of Android apps in Windows now. So let's turn down the music. There we go. And I'm going ahead and share my screen. And share screen. Share system audio. There we go. Okay.
Red circle.
Switch to Windows 1 Core Voices. Okay, so as I said in my last video, what happened last time when I tried to do this, so this is probably like take 2.5 or take 3 at this point. So the first time I tried to do this on this particular machine, I realized that in dev builds of Windows, this feature is not currently available. So it has to be done in beta. I have another machine that I did this already with. However, I can't do live streaming with that machine as it does have sensitive information on it, and I don't particularly want to stream with that machine. So I ran into some issues with this machine, and because it was dev build, and I didn't read the full blog, and somehow I missed that part. Okay, so I received some information from an individual named Timothy from the WinAccess list, and he provided some information about doing a manual install. I don't recommend this. I'm not going to show how to do this. This is still an early preview, and Microsoft intends you to install it by going to the Windows or Microsoft Store and looking up the Amazon App Store and installing it that way, or by finding an Android app on the Microsoft Store, installing that, which will also install the Amazon App Store and that kind of thing. So since some of you will not have seen the Take Two video, I'm going to go ahead and just start from the very beginning. And if you have already seen that Take Two video, feel free to skip ahead and to the actual demo itself. So before I start, I just want to thank all the new subscribers. I want to thank you for joining me. Thank you so much. Your viewership is appreciated. I'm sitting outdoors. There's some background noise. Apologies about that. Okay, let's go ahead and, by the way, I'm focused more on audio, not so much video. I am blind myself. If you would like to help out with video, please get in touch. Thank you very much. Okay, first thing to do, start up the Android subsystem. I'm going to go ahead and go to Start menu.
Start window, search box edit blank, search box edit blank.
And I'm going to type, let's enable character so you can hear what I'm doing.
Speak typed characters on.
There you go. I'm going to go ahead and type Android.
Windows subsystem for Android trademark, app. Press right to switch preview 1 of 1 level 1.
Okay, Windows subsystem for Android. So I'm going to press enter on this and let's see what happens.
Windows subsystem for Android trademark. Windows subsystem for Android trademark window. Copy VM IP address button.
Okay, so I landed on the copy VM IP address button. Normally I would land on like the files. At least that's where I've landed on in the past, is files link. So let's just tab through. This is the main settings for the Android subsystem. So I'm just going to tab through.
Reset to defaults button. Turn off Windows subsystem for Android trademark button. Microsoft software license terms link. Microsoft privacy statement link. Additional disclosures link. Legal information link. Troubleshooting and support link. Help for app developers link. Give feedback link. Open files folder for Android link. Subsystem screen reader toggle button pressed.
Subsystem screen reader. This is a button that is normally not pressed. So if you'd like to turn it on, this is where you can turn on this screen reader mode. If you don't turn it on before now, or while you do this, and you end up finding yourself in an inaccessible window, you can always toggle it on by doing Windows Control T, and that will turn on the screen reader mode. So let's see what else is in here, if anything else. Let's see.
Subsystem resources grouping expanded. Subsystem resources as needed. Subsystem runs when needed. Apps start more slowly. Radio button checked.
This is the default setting. Subsystem is needed. Apps will start more slowly. If the subsystem is not needed, it will not be running. The next option will have the subsystem running all the time. And let's go to that option now. I'll just tab.
Subsystem resources continuous. Subsystem is always running. Apps start more quickly. Radio button not checked. Optional diagnostic data.
And I'm still
Help
tabbing.
Microsoft improve your Windows subsystem for Android trademark experience and fix problems more quickly by sending us additional diagnostic data. This includes data about how you use apps and enhanced error reporting. Your device will be equally secure and will operate normally even if you choose not to send optional diagnostic data. Toggle button pressed. Developer mode. Devices on the same private network can access the subsystem. Copy VM IP address.
Okay, so now we've cycled around. So now you see all the options in here, and this is for the Android subsystem. And let's go ahead and tab through to the only app in here that as far as I'm aware, that will actually utilize the subsystem screen reader for now. But we can try to find some other ones in the Windows, in the Microsoft Store here shortly.
Give feedback. Open files folder for Android link.
So let's open files folder for Android. Now, one thing that you will want to do is when the other screen reader is running, I'd probably advise turning off your present screen reader. That way you don't have two competing screen readers competing for shortcuts, etc. So let's just open it up first and see what happens. I'm going to hit enter.
Loading Windows subsystem for Android trademark window. Loading Windows subsystem for Android trademark window.
Yeah, this could take a little bit, depending on your machine. Just depends.
Windows subsystem for Android trademark. Windows subsystem for Android trademark window. Open files folder for Android
subsystem
link.
Screen reader on. Files.
Okay.
Downloads.
And it's said subsystem screen reader on, files, downloads. Now this is where you can turn off your other screen reader. So in this case, I'll just turn off NVDA.
Exit NVDA.
There we go. And now, to navigate around, you can just use Alt and right arrow key, for example. Let's just make sure I'm in the right window here. Let's turn on NVDA. So we'll just turn on narrator. Let's see what's going on here.
Studio. Windows subsystem for Android trademark. Red circle live studio. Promote Windows subsystem for Android trademark. Ping. Exiting narrator.
Okay.
Show routes.
There we
button.
go. So I just had to make sure I was in the right window. And now I can easily traverse through this with Alt right arrow or Alt left arrow, and you'll notice the talkback icons.
Downloads. Search. More options. Button. Downloads. In list.
One thing I noticed right away is there's a little bit of a click every time it speaks.
Not checked. Images. Out of. Not checked. Audio.
But as I said, this
Press
is
Alt
a
plus
very
Enter
early
to toggle.
preview.
Not checked. Videos.
And it does give a hint. It says press
Press
Alt
Alt
Enter
plus Enter.
to toggle, and Control does shut him up.
Not checked. Documents. Not checked. Large files. Not checked. This week. Files in downloads. List view. No items.
Alright, so there are no
List-
items here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go to the Microsoft Store, and let's see if we can find, I know that there are some Android apps released, for example, the BBC Sounds. I'm going to see if I can download them. There is a little bit of an issue at this point because they're in the blog post. They've said that the Amazon App Store has not enabled accessibility at this point, so I'm not sure that we will be able to accomplish this task, but we'll certainly try and see. So let's
Windows default preference.
I'll go ahead and I'm at the desktop. Let's go ahead and turn on
Desktop list.
narrator.
Selected.
There we go.
Start window. Search. Search box. Edit.
And I'll just type store.
Microsoft Store. App. Microsoft Store. Microsoft Store window. Microsoft Store. Character reading on.
There we go.
Search. Edit.
So now I'm in the search box,
User profile. Search. Edit.
and I'll just type in, I don't know,
Happy,
BBC
space.
Sounds.
NDS.
And I'll
Suggestions.
press enter.
Search. Edit. BBC Sounds. BBC Sounds. Filters. Button. Off. Results updated. No results found. All departments. Button. Top tier. Stunt School Revolution Racing and Flying 158 total ratings. Average. Top tier. Drift. Top tier. Top. Birds. Dinosaurs. Rock ring. Babe. Smart DN. Cash News. US. Make.
I'm not seeing BBC Sounds here, and it's possible that because I've installed this subsystem manually, that I won't get any results in the store when I search for Android apps. I believe the BBC Sounds is an app that is available. There's not very many that are available, so that's another issue. Let's just search for Amazon App Store.
Search. Edit. BBC. A. Selection deleted. Search. Edit.
Amazon
Suggestion. Space. P. A. P.
App Store.
Suggestion. Search. Edit. Amazon App Store. Amazon App Store. Results updated. No results found. All departments. Amazon Prime Video for Windows Entertainment 250.
Yeah, and it says no results found, so it certainly couldn't find the Amazon App Store.
Contact Store. Business available device. Music for life. Contact Amazon. Mini piano. Run with me. Maxim Flower.
Yep, so that that's not happening. So we certainly can't install any Android apps at this point on this particular machine that I can demo other than the Files app. In future, though, you can go to the store, or you can, if it's installed properly in the beta, you can go to the Microsoft Store. You can search for apps and download those apps directly. If you don't have the Amazon App Store, it will download that as well, and you'll have to sign in to the Amazon App Store once you get that, which, as I've said in their blog post, they claim that accessibility has not been implemented for that App Store yet.
Red Circle List Studio.
So it's possible that that won't work, but I'm not sure
Studio.restream. Windows subsystem for Android trademark. Promotion. NVDA.
on this particular machine. So
Windows subsystem for Android trademark window. Open files folder for Android.
let's see if we can enable developer mode and what that does if we can sideload anything here. Let's see
Optional diagnostic.
what this developer mode does.
Manage developer settings. Developer mode. Devices on the same private network can access the subsystem. Toggle switch on. Copy VM IP address button. Manage developer settings.
Let's go to manage developer settings.
Windows subsystem for Android trademark.
Developer options. Navigate up. Button.
Let's see what's in developer options, and we've switched to using talkback
Press Alt
here.
plus enter to developer on. Memory. Average 588 megabytes of 6.3 GB memory used. Bug report. Desktop backup path. Stay awake. Enable Bluetooth HCI. Running services. View and picture color mode. Use sRGB.
So if you're familiar with this, this is similar to the developer mode in Android on an Android phone or tablet.
Web view implementation. Android system web view. Automatic system update. Web view DSU loader. Load a dynamic system update image. System UI demo mode. Quick settings developer tiles. Debugging. Heading. USB debugging. Debug mode when USB is connected. USB debugging. Debug mode when USB is connected. On. Switch.
Okay, so we have
Press Alt
ADB, so
plus
I'm
Enter to
wondering if
activate.
that will allow us, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'll have to play with that to see if we're able to sideload anything or
Revoke
how that
USB
whole
debugging
works.
author. Wireless debugging. On. Wireless
I'm sure that we
debugging.
probably can.
Disable ADB authorization. Bug report shortcut. Show a button in the power menu for taking. Select mock location. Force full GNSS measurements. Track all GNSS. Enable view attribute inspection. Enable.
So of course some of these are very much phone based, and so they probably don't really do much in here.
Select debug app. No debug application set. Wait for debugger. Verify apps over. Verify bytecode of debuggable apps.
One thing I
Allow
noticed is that scrolling works pretty well, so as I'm going through Alt right arrow, it does scroll, which is good.
Logger buffer sizes. Feature flags. Enable GPU debug layer. Graphics driver pref. App compatibility changes. Toggle app compatibility changes. Show refresh rate. Show the current display. Allow screen overlays on settings. Allow app system tracing. Networking. Wireless display.
And I'm kind of going through
certification.
these
Show
relatively
options.
quickly just to show what's here, not necessarily to, tell you what each option does. And some of these won't apply here for this particular subsystem anyway.
Enable Wi-Fi verbose logging. Increase Wi-Fi scan throttling. Wi-Fi enhanced MAC randomization. When this mobile data always active. Tethering hardware access. Default USB configuration. Show Bluetooth devices without names. Disable absolute volume. Enable Gebeldersk. Enables the Bluetooth Gebeldersk feature. Disable Bluetooth A2DP. Bluetooth AVRC version. AVRC 1. Bluetooth map version. HD audio, off. Bluetooth audio codec. Bluetooth audio sample rate. Use systems. Bluetooth audio bit. Bluetooth audio channel mode. Bluetooth audio LDAC. Maximum connected Bluetooth. Input. Show taps. Pointer location. Drawing. Head. Show surface update. Show layout bound. Force RTL layout direct. Window animation scale. Transition animation scale. Animator duration scale. Simulate secondary display. Smallest width.
It seems
Hardware
pretty
acceler-
responsive,
show
as
view updates.
relatively
hardware-
responsive.
Debug
So as soon
GPU
as I hit
over-
the key,
Debug override 4
it's
stars.
going to the next
Source
item.
4 XML. Media. Disable USB audio routing. Monitoring. Strict mode enabled. Flash screen. Profile H. Apps. Don't keep activities. Destroy background process. Background check. Always show crash dialog. Show background ANRs. Suspend execution. Show notification. Adaptive notification priority. Adaptive notification. Standby apps. Force allow apps on force activities to be recycled. Enable freeform window. Force desktop mode. Force. Enable freeform size compat. Reset shortcut autofill. Head. Logging level. Max requests per. Max visible data.
So there's a lot of
Reset to
options
default.
here.
Storage. Shared data. There is no shared data for this user. Disabled. Storage. Heading.
Let's
Reset to
see
default.
if there is anything in the feature flags. So we'll just keep going back up here. And as you notice, I'm able to very quickly just scroll. It does not have touch support, so we can't use touch screen because that is
Wi-Fi.
disabled.
Show app. Enable feature.
Oh, here
Feature
we go.
flags.
So to get into it, we'll hit
Press
Alt Enter.
plus Feature flag. Feature experimental. Enlist.
Yep, there's nothing in here. So to go back, we just hit Alt Backspace.
Developer options.
There we go. And I'll just hit Alt Backspace again to back out.
Windows default preference.
There we go. And it says that when it loses focus, I believe, because now we have narrator up again and we're in a different window. So if you're not focused in a window that is Android based, it'll say something like Windows default preference.
Developer mode.
And I'm back with narrator on. Okay, well, there we go. That was an interesting little demo there of the Windows subsystem for Android, and I have no doubt that had I been able to actually install some of the apps, that it would have worked in a similar way. But there we go. So if you are interested in that, make sure that you have the beta, and you can actually do it. Probably you have a little bit better success than I have in terms of getting those working inside of the Amazon App Store and the Play Store and that kind of thing. Well, not the Play Store, but the Amazon App Store. There is some circulation of somebody who was able to get the Play Store working, but I don't really recommend it, and I think Microsoft will probably disable that at some point. So, but you can, right now, there are some instructions on getting the Play Store working. So,
yeah, if you really want to mess with that.
Exactly. Yep. Okay, well, Pixel time.
Yeah. There were some things I really liked about that. Like, it seems a little smoother than on the Chromebook, at least for, like, responsiveness moving around.
Well, I'd certainly hope so, since I've got a AMD Ryzen 7 with 16 gigs of RAM, and, yeah.
Yeah, right.
I would hope that it would be a little bit more responsive, but,
Yeah. Well, lots to look forward to, I guess.
Yeah, they have done a pretty decent job optimizing. I just don't like the fact that it's tied to the Amazon App Store, and I hope that they do give options for side loading and that kind of thing, because
yeah, that's not good.
In its current state, I mean, the Amazon App Store is a bit limited, so yeah.
Yeah, you're being generous there. It's very limited.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so Pixel time.
Yeah. What everyone's been waiting for.
It's kind of interesting. I've heard this device compared to a Note 10 Plus. I've heard it compared to a Nexus 6P. It's interesting, and I can see all of those. So it has the camera bar similar to the Nexus 6P, but on the Pro, it's not at the very, very top. It's like below the top.
Is it like in the middle?
It's not in the middle. It's still at close to the top, but there's about an edge of probably about an inch or so, an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches even. Certainly, probably about finger width for my fingers. Or thumb width or finger width, somewhere around there. So
sure.
There's that amount of distance. So it's not quite at the very top edge. And this bar, frankly, has two aluminum type things, strips or whatever, kind of a little bit hovering like over the glass to try to keep the glass from actually hitting the table or something, probably from scratching it. But otherwise, yeah, this bar goes all the way around, and the glass kind of blends into the curves of the device. But there's all kinds of seams. You can definitely feel some seaming going on. You can definitely feel the seam between the glass of the camera and the actual metal of the device itself, for example. Kind of a thicker device. We're not going super thin anymore. It is a little bit thicker of a device now. It's got very tactile buttons. Very tactile buttons. It's got stereo speakers that are pretty decent, except of one thing. They're a little bit off balanced in terms of audio, and I have no doubt that these issues probably can be fixed with software. But the speakers are a bit off balanced.
Meaning, like one's louder than the other?
Yes, one's louder than the other, and so when you're listening to stereo sound or stereo audio, it definitely makes it seem a little bit off balanced. But they're pretty decent speakers, really.
Ooh.
So they're quite decent, and I know that you guys can't pick up the like. I don't really know why people do this, and I do this too. I don't know why we do this. Why do we play the audio of a phone on YouTube? Like, you will never actually figure out what it sounds like from that.
There's a lot of compression going on.
There's a compression, but also just the mics make it sound different than what it is. Like, you will never actually hear what it sounds like on YouTube. So I am not really sure why I just did that, but if you think you got something out of that, good for you. From an accessibility perspective, it's interesting. What I will say is, if you can find updates to the device on day one, which there should be an update to the device on day one, be sure to try to update that, or see if it checks for updates in the beginning. Be sure to do that before you try to set it up. And even then, like, I don't know. You might run into a couple issues trying to type stuff in, especially if you're using a lot of the keys towards the bottom, or even like finding the shift key or the @ sign or something like that. Next to the space bar. I don't know. For whatever reason, I had a little bit of difficulty actually, landing on those. So there's a little bit of issue there. Otherwise, you're able to get through the setup just fine. It is pretty responsive, but it's not more responsive than, let's say, a Pixel 4. So if you had a Pixel 4 and you have a Pixel 6, I don't think that you'll notice a huge improvement in terms of responsiveness, in terms of talkback anyway.
What about compared to like the Galaxies, the new Galaxies?
I mean, Pixels are generally going to be a little bit more responsive than Galaxies. Even the new Galaxies. The Pixels will have a little bit more snap to them. It's still not what I would call responsive. But yes,
okay.
It is going to be a little bit better. So in using the device, it definitely feels good. I don't like the fact that the back on it is a glossy. It's not a matte back. I don't like that. I know some people do. I don't. I think it has potential of collecting more fingerprints, things like that. And this, it's my own personal preference. I also don't like that the sides are glossy. And on the Pixel 6, the regular one, they're not. But on the 6 Pro, they are glossy sides. I don't like that, and I don't think it gives me as good as a grip. Like, it's a large device. It's a really big device. And unless you should be smart, you should put a case on it, because if you don't, it is kind of it's a slippery device. The one benefit to having the camera bar, though, is that it's big enough to where when you're using the device, you can sort of rest the way that your finger rests your fingertip can kind of rest on that bar to help you use the device. If that makes sense.
You mean like to keep it steadier?
To keep it steady, or just to keep it from falling out of your hand, or I don't know. Like, you can just kind of rest the phone on your finger because of that camera bar.
How hard is it to use? Like, one of the things that has held me back from getting newer phones, well, other than like budget, is like, it seems like this would be hard to use in one hand.
I mean, I have big hands, and for me, it's fine, but it's still big. And yeah, it can be harder to use with one hand, unless you have a lot of your icons in the same place, or it depends on what you're doing. But yeah, it's certainly not like a small device. It's ultra size. This is Samsung S21 Ultra size. It's a big phone. The one good thing about this device is that it does have a curved back and front. So that helps kind of keep it a little bit smaller, I think, and it certainly helps me grip the device a little bit better. Okay, what else? From an accessibility perspective, you're pretty much running Android. There's a lot of new things in Android 12 that I have no doubt that BAO is going to address, so I'm not going to go too much into Android 12, but there are a couple of cool features, like the ability to use The voice input, ties to the assistant with the Gboard, and you can do things like, when you're dictating, you can say send. You can just give a little pause and say send, and it'll send the message. Or when you're dictating, you want to delete something, you can just say delete. It'll delete, whatever the last thing that you said. So it has a few words that it knows, and that really helps with dictation. If I'm dictating something, I don't have to stop and then send it anymore. I could just say send.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How's the Braille keyboard? Does that work okay?
It does. Yeah, it works great. It's pretty snappy, works fast, can keep up with my typing anyway. So, it's actually doing quite well with the Braille keyboard. A couple of things I don't really like is the fingerprint sensor. It has gotten better with updates, so again, this is another reason why if you get the device, update it on day one, because the fingerprint sensor has gotten improved, but yeah, it's not great. They're using an optical sensor instead of the ultrasonic sensor on the Samsungs, and it's not as snappy as the one like on the OnePlus devices. I've seen those, and those work really pretty quickly. This one kind of takes a little bit longer. You kind of rest your finger, okay, it unlocked. You kind of rest your finger, okay. I'll kind of demo it. I'll lock the phone. Let's lock the phone. There we go. So I'm gonna touch the fingerprint sensor, and it took it that time to unlock. So here we go. I'm gonna touch it again. And TalkBack does say when you're on the fingerprint sensor, it says fingerprint sensor. Another interesting thing that I ran into is that you want to probably use the always on display. If you don't use the always on display, you have to hit the power button first to unlock the device. At least that's how it works now. So it kind of gives you a reason to use the always on display, even if you can't actually see it, even though it probably will take up more battery and all that. Which is kind of an annoying thing, really.
Yeah, that is weird.
But such is life. Otherwise, as a phone, it's working pretty well. Of course, it's, if you're used to any kind of an Android device, like any kind of a previous Pixel, you'll feel right at home with it. The speakers are pretty good. They're really good quality for phone calls. The mics are pretty good, and I can play a recording that I took.
Yeah, that's a very interesting recording, actually.
Yeah, it'll kind of showcase, to some extent at least, just, a person going on everyday life. Just took that recording, went for a little quick walk, tried to demo some traffic sounds. And I hope it'll showcase some of the separation in the stereo. But yeah, so I'll play that recording, and you can hear what the mics sound like anyway. And you can maybe compare with other phones if you have another phone. I don't know. You can compare with that, but I don't know. To me, it sounds okay.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and share the screen, and I will share that recording. It's pretty short. It's probably about 3 or 4 minutes long. And then Kurt can give his views, and we can argue about modems, and then we can get to wrapping this up. Alright, let's see. Hello everyone, this is Nimer, and this recording is being done with Pixel 6 Pro. So what I'm going to do is go take this Pixel 6 Pro for a walk, and let's see how well recordings happen on this device. We're going to take the pooch. Come on, pooch. Good dog. Sure. There we go. Good girl. take a walk, and this is a recording. It should be in FLAC, and also should be in stereo.
Open Telegram.
But the setting in HiQ is set to stereo, so let's see how this goes. Just walked out of my gate. And we're just going to go for a quick walk, not too far. Hear the birds.
Hello. That was a very quiet recording there.
I think the recording's still going.
Like very quietly.
And I'm walking up to a road that I will be approaching in about 15 seconds or so, and it is a rather busy road. So to my left, there's also some landscaping going on, although there's a bit in the distance. Right in front of me are the cars. And now I'm going to turn on the road and I'm going to go right. So now the cars are on my left. But I will turn the phone to portrait mode so that maybe you can try to get a stereo effect of the traffic. But we'll see if that works. Okay, well, this has been a recording using Pixel 6 Pro. I hope that you were able to get something out of it. That is all. All right. Maybe I'll play the beginning part of that again. I think Kurt said it was a little bit quiet, so I'll just play the beginning part of that again, and maybe you can get a little bit more out of the beginning.
Yeah, it was very quiet.
Hello everyone, this is Nimer, and this recording is being done with Pixel 6 Pro. So what I'm going to do is go take this Pixel 6 Pro for a walk, and let's see how well recordings happen on this device. And we're going to take the pooch. Come on, pooch. Good dog. Leash. There we go. Good girl. So we're going to go take a walk, and this is a recording. It should be in FLAC, and also should be in stereo. I'm not sure. But the setting in HiQ is set to stereo, so let's see how this goes. just walked out of my gate. And we're just going to go for a quick walk, not too far. Hopefully you can hear the birds. All right, and that was about the time I think where that the volume turned up a bit. So go ahead and just stop this screen share. There we go. So that was a recording done on that Pixel 6 Pro. As I said, it sounds okay to me. It's not. It's picking up, I think, things in a realistic way. It's picking up exactly what's in the environment. Things that are a little bit farther away, it maybe cancels out to some extent, especially if there's other noise closer to it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, pretty much any phone's going to do something with the mics. I don't think that we're ever meant to have a mic that just does not play with mics.
Right.
I would love to see some kind of a raw audio mode on any device that just doesn't do any canceling, but I don't think we're going to see that on a phone.
Especially with LG gone. I feel like if anyone was going to do it, it would have been them.
Yeah. So in terms of modems or anything like that, I know Sneed Mobile Tech's doing some of his speed testing, and others are doing some of their speed testing. I will say from my own personal anecdotes here with both Verizon and T-Mobile, they work fine, because I have two SIMs of both, and they work fine here. I do have the mid-band 5G here with T-Mobile, and what I'll say is it works as inconsistently as any other device that I have with T-Mobile's mid-band 5G. And what I mean by that is I can walk down the road, I can get a 700 megabit per second speed, I can walk 10 feet, and then I'll be right back down to 20. And then I can walk another 10 feet, and I'll be back up to 400 or 500. Just depends on whether or not it's capturing that signal. And then, as I said, I have that same issue with any other device that I've connected to it, and which is, would be the S21 Ultra, and it would be Pixel 5, which is actually a mid-range device, but still picks up the same speeds because you don't need a super high-end device to pick up those speeds with T-Mobile, because they're not aggregating very many bands or anything like that.
Yeah, so. Not yet anyways.
Yeah, we've had this discussion. Even if they do, they don't have the backhaul. In most places, they don't own their own fiber. They're paying someone else, and they're not paying for, super crazy speeds. This is like they have millimeter wave. I don't know if you knew that. They have millimeter
kind
wave.
of in a couple places, yeah.
They do, but if you run speed tests, in places where they have millimeter wave, you're lucky if you reach a gig. I mean, most of the time you won't even reach gig speeds on millimeter wave.
Yeah, that's not good.
Whereas if you run, Verizon's on millimeter wave, you're easily getting, depending on where you are, you can be getting 3 and 4 gigs per second.
Yeah.
So 1.5, 2, it's certainly a lot higher than T-Mobile's.
Yeah, T-Mobile's network has issues. I will say I haven't had mine be nearly as inconsistent as yours, but I think I just lucked out and I live in a good area where they've got a lot of towers close to me, and the one thing
as long as they have a lot of density, because that's the thing, is T-Mobile's never really densified.
Yeah.
In a lot of places what they will do is they will stretch their signal literally as far as it will go. And that in between is where you tend to have the issues, that in between sites.
Yeah.
Which can be a big gap, but it's, it can be a little gap, but either way, you're going to have some cutouts and things like that. But, they've improved. They've gotten better. But speed test is not the only measure of a network, and so if you run something like an NPerf app, which tries to measure video streaming and tries to measure actual web downloading and things like that, T-Mobile all of a sudden stops being so good.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still, in my NPerf app, that's how I do most of my tests, and it's still showing up pretty decently.
Yeah, but it should be showing a lot more decently compared to what the speeds it says it's giving you.
Yes. Yeah, it should. It should. I don't want to come across as, defending T-Mobile's networking because it's not great. And I don't necessarily know that I would recommend T-Mobile unless, you live in a place where they've built out good infrastructure. My one issue with the modem on this thing is I don't know how, leaving aside T-Mobile for a minute, I'm wondering how future-proof it is, because it seems like there should be a lot more 5G, improvements rolling out with the networks in the next year or two. And I feel like most people aren't buying a phone just for, a year, 2 years anymore.
I think that in the States, certainly, and depending on the country, unless you're going to be. So here's one of the interesting things I've seen is a lot of the tech experts, they have compared the modem on the Pixel 6s to the modem from 2020, the X55, and I don't actually think that's accurate. And even if it is, different devices do different things with their modems. And one example of this is iPhones. If you have an iPhone and you have an S21, which actually has a newer modem than the iPhone, probably 8 or 9 times out of 10, the iPhone's getting a better speed. And that's not because the iPhone is so much better.
Right.
It's because of how that modem's been optimized in that particular device and the antennas and the amount of power that it's using, etc. Pixel, at least so far, seems to be similar in that way, in that it's actually picking up, if I, compare two devices side by side, it's actually picking up generally faster speeds.
Sure.
And I've seen other people reporting that. It's picking up a little bit better, certainly better signal for a longer, farther range, like the actual, the dBm, the decibels or whatever those are lower, that's good. You want lower.
Yeah, that is better.
And so, in 3 years, will this device be, as you stated, will it be an antique? I don't think that's true. And here's a couple of reasons why. Even if, worst case scenario, this phone just does not aggregate any other bands, which I'm not sure is actually true, and I don't think any of the people testing it know whether it's true or not yet, because we don't have the networks to be able to.
Yeah, networks don't do that yet here.
Right. But even if that's the case, are you still, right now, when you go out with a Pixel 6, are you able to get 4 gigs per second on Verizon? And the answer is yes. Are you, with T-Mobile, on a shitty network like it, able to get 800 megabits per second? And really, you should be, with 115, 120 megahertz of spectrum that they've got right now, you should be able to get at least gig speeds. But let's say...
Yeah, yes.
But can you pick up the 700 or 800 megabits per second? The answer is yes. So, is a device that gives you that much speed an antique? Even 3 or 4 years, they aggregate more bands. The best thing that happens to other devices is they get a little bit faster, therefore they free up more traffic for older devices because they're done with tasks faster. Yeah. Therefore, your current device gets faster or stays the same. So, in 3 years, is your device that is getting already, 800 megabits per second. Like, what can you not do with 800 megabits per second?
Yeah, but I'm more thinking about in 3 years if the networks are built up as much as people say, or even half as much as people say, that 10 millisecond latency versus 20 to 30 millisecond latency, like, that could be the difference between doing, like, VR on your phone or, like, replacing your home network with your phone. Like, these are things that people have been saying 5G should be able to do, and that's why people should get excited about 5G. And, like, the networks
but you can
aren't there
do
yet.
VR on your phone. And you can do home networking on your phone. And that 10-second ping is not really making that big of a difference right now. In fact...
Well, right now,
But even in future, I mean, for most people's needs, what the internet does, you don't need sub 10-second pings. In fact, most people don't have sub 10-second pings even on their home networks.
Right.
That doesn't even exist unless you're running fiber, in which case you might be getting 5 seconds or something like that. Certainly, if you're running DSL, you don't have sub 10-second pings. If you're running cable,
No.
you're maybe hovering around that 10 seconds if you're lucky.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think, and then people are using home internet from T-Mobile, and they're doing just fine with, 50 millisecond pings, 30 to 50.
Right.
So, I just don't see that for 98% of people. And by the way, if you are the new, the person where it will make a difference, then you will run out to get a new phone, because even the newest Galaxy S21 is not future-proof in that regard.
Right.
We need the next modem to come out. So you're always needing a new modem to come out. You're always needing something new. And so if what you have isn't working for you, and I don't think in 2 or 3 years we're going to be in standalone for that big, for the entire network. We're still going to be probably dealing with that LTE core and all that. I mean, they're slowly getting to that process. But hey, we can't even get rid of 3G because they just expanded that again. And
yeah. And T-Mobile's trying to shut down a lot of their...
Yeah.
Even 2G, that they're delaying their 2G shutdown because they've got customers who are still using that. So,
right. So I don't know. If we're talking theoretical, yeah, in 3 years the device is out of date. But in 3 years, I think any device today is out of date. But is that really going to impact the user? I don't really think so. I haven't seen any use case on a mobile device that you need less than 10 millisecond ping that is anywhere near close to being ready to be like, this is what you're using, and this is actually making a huge impact of where 5 milliseconds or 10 milliseconds is going to impact you. And by the way, right now, depending on where you're at with T-Mobile, you are able to get 10, 12 millisecond pings, or Verizon, 12 to 15 millisecond pings, or even AT&T. That already exists, and that's with LTE. So, I don't know. I don't see. I don't see. I guess is what I'm saying. I don't really see. This device being super antiquated that would stop you from using it for 5 years if you chose to. But any device is going to be, to some extent.
Yeah, eventually.
So. That's my view on that. I know that's not really related to accessibility. Hopefully it's interesting to some of you. I think the modem...
yeah, we went off in the weeds a little.
Yeah, I think the modem discussion's rather interesting, and I know Kurt and I follow some of the same people discussing these things.
Yeah.
And I'm always trying to keep up on that because I'm interested in it. But I don't know how many of you are. And the thing is, whether your phone gets 800 megabits per second or 2 gigs per second, it's not going to make any difference to you. Most of the downloads that you have, most of the servers can't even dish out that amount of speed. So,
yeah, especially if you're on a network like T-Mobile,
right.
So
yeah, and if you don't have the backhaul, you don't pay for your own fiber. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. They have to build their own fiber. Now, Verizon's about to deploy the C-band, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be hitting gig speeds with their mid-band. Whereas, T-Mobile's going to be stuck with this 400,
Yeah.
500, 600 megabits per second. Because they just don't have the, you can keep adding spectrum all you want, but if you don't have the backhaul, you're not going to.
Yeah, no, it's true. No argument from me there.
So, anyway, let us know what you thought of this video. Put it in the comments. I think it's going to be a rather interesting one, but, we've
Right?
started out with, recreating the entire stream. Hopefully some of you find your way back. Feel free to like it and share it out. If you have any questions on the pixels, feel free to put those in the chats, and hopefully some of you can get your hands on them. I know they're getting hard to find, but yeah, hopefully you get your hands on those. And let us know if you have any questions about those, maybe that I didn't touch on, or if there's something that you'd like to see specifically demoed. Otherwise, I would say check out some of the mainstream reviews, and hopefully Bow. I don't know if any of their people got Pixels yet, but if they did, hopefully they'll be doing a review.
I can't imagine them not.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, if Warren got it, it's probably under his bed, so...
Oh my gosh.
Warren, you might have to pull it out of your bed. If you want to demo it, you might have to come out of your bed. Okay, well...
Yeah, alrighty.
I think, we'll see you next week. Probably try to do mobile
Sounds
apps
good.
next week.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That'll be a day after I go skydiving.
You're going skydiving.
I'm going skydiving, yeah.
Okay. What I would like is for you to sign, your will. Have you created your will yet?
What do you want? Do you want all of my money and all of my everything?
Exactly. And by the way, if you are listening to this and you'd like to be a host on this channel, I might need a new host soon, or co-host soon. So please reach out. And in all seriousness, if you do want to come on, you're welcome to come on anyway. But yeah, have fun with that skydiving there, Kurt.
Yeah.
So you're actually going to get on a plane and go up in the air and jump?
And jump out of the plane, yeah.
Just remember, you do have to, wear this thing called a parachute. I don't know if you know what those are. Remember, it's very important. You can't fly without the parachute. Well, I'm not sure you can fly with the parachute, but anyway.
Yeah, hopefully we pull the cord at the right time.
Yeah, pull the cord. Don't forget. Don't fall asleep.
I can't imagine falling asleep at that moment, but we'll see.
If they let you, you should record or something, and we can play it back. And this is an adventure channel, so we'll have
that sounds fun
in the background or something. Kurt screaming his head off.
Yeah.
And you should maybe do a record. You should do like a scheduled send or something. That way, if you do go splat, we can hear it. Although I don't know if the phone would still work after that, but
yeah, I don't think the IP68 water resistance is good enough to protect against, especially with the glass backs on these things. Like
that is true. Yeah.
If my bones aren't strong enough.
Yeah, have a great time. I think that's really exciting, and hopefully it goes well. And for all the listeners, say goodbye to Kurt. Maybe we'll see him again. Maybe not.
Maybe.
Tune in next week to find out.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody, and have yourself a great week. Bye-bye.
Take